Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to learn about intervals. An interval is the distance between two notes. To name properly an interval, there is two parts on it. First the number and then the quality. A quality is an adjective that describes the number. But don't worry, for now we are not going to get into it. First, we are going to learn how to number the interval. But before that, we need to learn the music alphabet. There is only 7 notes in the Occidental music, and we are going to use letters to name those notes. Fortunately, we're going to use only the first 7 notes of our alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we are going to repeat them. As we move forward in the alphabet, we are going to get higher in pitch. As we move backward, we are going to get lower in pitch. Perfect. So the first thing that we need to do is to count letters. As I mentioned before, we are going to repeat those letters all the time. So let's make an example. Probably it's gonna be clear. What's the distance between A and F? So we are going to count letters: A, B, C, D, E, F. There is 6 letters. Perfect. What's the distance between D and G? So we are going to count letters: D, E, F, G. Perfect. So there is 4 letters. Perfect. What's the distance between D and D? So let's count letters: D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. 8, right? So let's write that down. For this particular interval, there is a fancy word to describe it. The word is octave. That comes from the word in Latin octava. That means 8. That's it. There is another special interval that we need to mention, where the pitch is exactly the same. For example, G and G in the same register, in the same octave. So is G and G. There is only 1 letter. So for that one, the word is unison. That's it. 2 fancy names that we need to learn. What happened if our interval is larger than an octave? Those intervals are numbered the same. Those intervals are called compound interval. Keeping that in mind, what's the distance between A and D in different octaves? A and D. Let's count: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. 11, right? So there is 11 notes. Let me put it on the board. some 11 notes. Okay? As I mentioned before, we need to count the letters. Now we're going to throw into the mix sharps and flats. What's the distance between G sharp and C? Okay, I'm going to give you 1 second to give me the answer. So let's count notes. G, A, B, C. Fourth, right? Perfect. There you go. Let's make another one. What's the distance between D flat and E flat? D flat, E flat, 2 letters. So the answer is 2. Perfect. So, as I mentioned before, we are going to ignore flats and sharps. We only need to count notes. Okay? So, let's make the last example. What's the distance between G sharp and D flat? G, A, B, C, D. Five, right? There you go. And what's the distance between G sharp and C sharp? G, A, B, C. 4, right? There is 4 letters between them. So at this moment probably you're wondering, oh, this guy is playing the same notes. Yeah, that's called an harmonic equivalent. That's why we need to count only letters. It's really important to keep that in mind, because when it comes to name properly an interval, so many students make that mistake, because an interval can be called in a different ways depending on the context, as we saw before. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to do some exercises, only to review that you have learned properly. For example, what's the distance between F and C sharp? Okay. F, G, A, B, C. 5, right? There you go. Another one. What's the difference? This is a tricky one actually. What's the distance between C sharp and D flat? There you go. Do you remember the enharmonic equivalent? Even though they are the same pitch, they are named differently. So what's the distance? There's only 2 letters, C sharp and D flat. Now an easy one. What's the distance between C and G? C, D, E, F, and G. 5. Perfect. What's the distance between F sharp and F sharp in different octaves. Between this F sharp and this F sharp. Do you remember the fancy name? F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. If you said octave, you are right. Another easy one. What's the distance between D and G? D, E, F, G. There you go. If you said 4, you are completely right. And the last one, another fancy one. What's the distance between G and G? Unison. If you said that, you are completely right. This one is the first video of the series of videos that I'm going to upload to know how to name intervals properly. Stay tuned for the next video. Remember that you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and my website. Links are on the description down below. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please write them on the comments and I will be happy to answer.